Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, I know y'all are tired, and I know y'all don't want to listen to this anymore. But I hear you. I hear you. Look, I've stayed off this mic all session, and that's very unusual for me mostly, so I'm going to take a little privilege at this point in time. Let me tell you that I come and I stand before you tonight as a tort reformer. I've been a tort reformer since I walked into this body. In 2003, I served as Vice Chair of Civil Practices, and I helped carry tort reform on this floor. And I spent way too much time on this mic for 2.5 days defending that bill, as Mr. Guerin tells me all the time, as some of you freshmen have already experienced this year. I carried the Forum Non-Convenes bill that just helped us make Texas not a dumping ground for everybody else's lawsuits. I carried the court reorganization bill last session that Ms. Thompson killed on a point of order right here in this last week because of some issues that were going on across the state. I'm a tort reformer standing before you saying that you need to vote for this bill. The reason I'm telling you to vote for this bill is this: because I'm a conservative. I ran in this body, and I ran continuously saying that one of the things that we do not want to have is we do not want to have an activist judicial system. We want to be the body that makes the law. We don't want our courts to make the law. I cannot stand before you and accept a right-wing court making the law any more than I can stand before you and let a left-wing court make the law. It is a fundamental constitutional issue of separation of powers. You are getting a lot of pressure here today. You've had it for weeks on end. You've had it from the trial lawyers, you've had it from TLR, you've had it from businesses, you've had it from everybody else. I'm telling you today to push all that things aside, because it's not about any of those issues, and it's not about them, it's about us. The Supreme Court, in their original ruling, came up and said that a premise owner could be considered a general contractor and achieve sole remedy protections in their decision. Something that's been trying to be passed in this body for 20 years. That's never been passed. Never been passed by this body. And in their original decision, they said it's through a recodification that we found that you could do this. And then this body erupted and said, we can't stand that recodification means legislative intent, means we don't change anything. And the Supreme Court said that didn't matter. And then after we erupted, they said, oh, whoa, wait a minute. It wasn't the 1993 recodification. It was the 1989 change in law. And then they say, wait a minute. It wasn't the 1989 change in law. Actually, it's the 1917. You've been able to do this forever. Why do I say it's an activist court? Because we have one ultimate policy decisions and 3 different ways to get there over time. There's no other way to look at this than they were trying to get to a result that this body has refused to do. I'm going to tell you that it's a result that I think we should do. I believe in the policy. I believe that a general contractor and a premise owner should be the same person. But I think that the only way you can do that is to revamp comp, which everybody says in this body says we need to do. How do you get anybody at the table when they've already gotten what they want? You can't get them there. I stand before you saying that the policy that was in this decision by the Supreme Court, I agree with. But I disagree with the process. We've been talking about process in this body for years. That it matters. I'm telling you to get rid of the outside pressures. Because what this is about us. Do we matter? Does legislative intent matter? I stand before you and say on the policy side I agreed with what they did, but I disagreed why they got there, and that's a constitutional issue. And when I'm faced with a Hobson's choice, not a Chuck Hobson, but a Hobson's choice, of picking one or the other, I have to fall back to the Constitution. Because it's what I was sent here and swore to uphold. vote for this bill. God bless you.
Chair recognizes Mr. Cook. Against. Members, please refrain from celebration and respect the members in their speeches.